Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Justin. I am in the middle of not having a studio, so I'm just recording in my garage with my temporary desk and all of my boxes. But enough about that. Thank you for joining us. Today I'm going to be talking about social media for your church. How should you post? Where should you post? When should you post? Should you post? What should you post? All that kind of stuff. But before we get into that, would like you guys to hit subscribe on this channel. If this video gets 50 subscribers, I'm going to give away this brand new SEV7 microphone. I'm going to ship it to you free of charge, nothing but hitting that subscribe button. So smash it. I don't know if you've heard this microphone. Whew, it sounds so good. I love it. If you can't tell, there's one back here that I use for some recording stuff. There's shirts down in the description. That's another way you guys can support us. All right, so with all that said, let's get into it. Today's verse is Galatians 2:21. I'm reading out of the NLT. I do not treat the grace of God as meaningless, for if keeping the law could make us right with God, then there was no need for Christ to die. Meditate on that. Let that sink in. Let that just bake in your heart and realize that it's not about doing and fulfilling the law. It's about letting Christ live through you. So I think that with live streaming, I think that there's a couple things. So a majority of churches in the United States are sub 200 people. So I think that you should be, if you are in that category, which a majority of you probably are, I think that your production for your live stream should be very, very low. And what I say by low means I don't think that you should be spending $2,000 or $3,000 on a camera and buying $2,000 or $3,000 worth of a computer and buying like $1,000 worth of recording, and you're like $6,000 into this to live stream to like 3 or 4 people. It's just, I don't think that it's worth it there. So I think that if you are in that category, you should find a inexpensive camera and do it as cheap as you possibly can. And hear me out, because there's next steps that I have for you, what I think from there. I think these are the 7 layers, the funnel, step-by-step layers that you should go. And this is where they are. Let's start with number 1. You should be posting full sermons. Number 1, get full sermons down pat. Let's get them as high quality as possible. Let's break down and get following pastor done really, really well. Let's get overlays of lower thirds for worship and for scriptures, nice, neat, pristine. Like, let's get our full sermons as well produced as we can with the limited equipment that we have until we start moving on from there. Then next step is take that sermon, chunk it up. Okay, it's awesome. I've been thinking about doing this for a while. I've been paying attention, seeing a lot of people doing this, and Brady actually just posted a video about this. What I've been noticing is that our sermons, that once Sunday morning goes, I can look at the first 24 hours of our live stream sermon, and we're getting anywhere between 22 and 35 minutes worth of consumption time per person. That's great. That's fantastic. Here's the thing. After that 24-hour period of time, once it goes live and we're getting about 50 to 100 views, depending on our full sermon, the consumption time goes down to an average of 7 minutes, which makes sense because the science says that people's attention span on YouTube is 7 to 10 minutes. But like Brady says in his video, Elevation on Pastor Stephen's channel, they'll take 7-minute chunk of a sermon or a 15-minute chunk of a sermon, give it a different title, and then at the end of that video, they'll link the full service for you to watch the full sermon, because it may be an hour and 15-minute message. And honestly, I don't know many people that are sitting down watching 45 to an hour long messages on YouTube for the most part. Let's find a 7 to 10-minute chunk of our sermon. That's a great point that can really drive it home. And I guarantee you'll get more views on that if you're doing the tags correctly, the thumbnails correctly. You'll get a lot of traction out of that. And then you can also have that push towards your live stream on your full sermons, and hopefully that'll get people to want to watch on Sunday morning. They'll hit subscribe. Now they're getting a notification that you're going live. Number 3, we're going to start sending like, hey, Susie from congregation, hey, I'm going to send you a YouTube link. Would you mind doing me a favor? Would you watch through the sermon? Would you pull like 5 or 6 like 1 to 3 minute clips of pastor's sermon that just really hit you? so we can start uploading shorts and YouTube shorts, Instagram reels, Facebook reels, honestly, even TikToks. So then those are like those really quick little, like, people are sitting on the toilet scrolling through shorts. Like, that's why they're so big. You can start getting hit. Okay, so I got this mixed up. Number 3 was clips, which are 3 to 5 minutes, because I'm trying to keep them short, 16 by 9. Maybe that's like a word that someone's giving. Maybe that's a testimony. Maybe that's, just a really good point. Number 4 is the shorts and the TikToks. So sorry for the confusion. I read my notes wrong. All right, so the next thing that you should do, once all of those are completed, you guys have that down pat, everything is running like a well-oiled machine. Number 5 is start a podcast. What does that look like? That could look like a million different things. Okay, we already have the equipment. Let's just sit down, honestly, take your phone out, hit record on voice memo, pop it in front of you and the pastor, and just have a conversation for 15, 20, 30 minutes to an hour. Have that grow. Let that build. The thing is that people are willing to listen and watch things that aren't the greatest of quality if the content is good and authentic. Those are the 2 things that matter. I think that's the next step, would be to start a video/audio podcast. Sometimes maybe that's audio podcast first, then we're throwing up cameras, as we get more traction. Number 6, this is something that I think that every single church in America can do. Create teaching content. Okay? There is so much content that people don't understand. I get asked, and I hear all the time, how do I read the Bible? Where do I start? What do I do in this situation? What do I do in that situation? There's all these things the Bible talks about that for most people, especially in the United States, we don't really dive into this. A lot of our pastors they've gone through seminary, they learn, they have their own thoughts. They can create tons and tons of content about how to do this. You may be saying to yourself, well, Justin, there's tons of videos on the internet that teach you how to read the Bible, how to get started. There's YouVersion that has reading plans. The thing is that there are people in your congregation that like your pastor, and they want to know, Pastor, where should I read? Because I trust you. Okay? You may end up being able to change someone's life and be able to ignite them into reading the scriptures based off of that. A lot of it is preference. There are so many vloggers and people out there teaching tutorials. When I look up, if you got on YouTube right now and looked up NDI OBS, there's like 45 videos. There's like 7 or 9 guys that are up front that are teaching you how to do the exact same thing, but they all have 10, 20, 30, 40,000 views. Why is that? Some of it's because their built-in audience that they have. Some of it is because people have been watching them. Sometimes it's because I like to watch how different people do things differently. And for, you, pastor, you may say, you know what? I think that starting off in Genesis, so that we have the foundation of how everything started, is really important before you move into the Gospels. Then there's other pastors that say, you know what? I like to read the Gospels and understand the story of Jesus. And then I like to go back to Genesis and I like to see, watch how things in Genesis, relate to Jesus, whatever that may be. I think that's super important. Number 7 is find people in your congregation that you trust. Build it up. Start doing devotionals. Do them live on Facebook. Do them live on YouTube. My church, we dove head in and we're doing one every day, Monday through Friday. And it's at a consistent time. So Monday nights are always 7 p.m. and then the rest of the week are 7 a.m. We're pulling all the audio from those and putting them on our podcast as well. And they're sitting between 5 and 15 minutes long. Remember, online media is like Paul writing the letters from prison. We have the internet. We can't waste this gift that we can literally sit down and record this and post it everywhere. There are like 4 billion people on YouTube. We all say if we can save one soul, it's worth it. Why are you not getting on YouTube more? Why are you not posting more videos? Why are you not trying to reach people outside of your 4 doors in your community? This is a great way to build community, because as people share things, because everyone in your community is going to start sharing those videos, and they're sharing those videos and they're popping up in the feeds of other people in your community. And the more people that see your content in your community, the more people that are going to come through your doors, the more people that are going to learn about Jesus Christ and who he is and what he did for them, from your congregation and from your community. That's super important. All right, guys, that's it for today. Let me know down in the comments what you thought about this. And again, if this video gets 50 subscribers, SEV7, I will do a drawing from one of the people that subscribe. Yeah, so subscribe. It's that big red button down in the corner. Thanks again, guys. Till next time, I'm Justin. Make sure you're enhancing.
Yeah.